Welcome to the Daily Globe. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. Picture a ribbon of blue slicing through the heart of Central America, a canal that could transform not just Nicaragua, but the very flow of global trade. Imagine ships bypassing the familiar route, forging a new path through this narrow land, forever altering the map of commerce and power. For centuries, Nicaragua dreamed of connecting the Atlantic and Pacific, envisioning prosperity and a place on the world stage. The idea has lingered since colonial times, tempting explorers, engineers, and empires alike. Today, that dream is a geopolitical flashpoint, igniting passions and fears both at home and abroad. China, wielding vast economic might and global ambition, is now eyeing this narrow isthmus as a gateway to influence and opportunity. This isn't just construction, it's a move in a global chess match, with the US and the world watching every step, calculating their next moves. A Chinese-backed canal would upend a century of American dominance in the region, challenging old alliances and established interests. It would rival the Panama Canal, shifting the balance of power in global commerce and potentially redrawing the lines of international trade. The impact would ripple from Shanghai to Los Angeles, affecting ports, jobs, and economies on both sides of the Pacific. For Nicaragua, it's a story of hope and fear, promises of jobs, infrastructure, and prosperity, but also threats to the environment, indigenous lands, and traditional ways of life. President Ortega touts the canal as a path to sovereignty and progress, a bold step toward a brighter future for his nation. Yet, environmentalists warn of catastrophe, and local communities fear displacement, loss of heritage, and irreversible damage to their homeland. The world is watching. Is this a commercial venture or a strategic gambit for supremacy? Is it progress or peril? How will the US respond to a direct challenge in its own backyard? And what will it mean for the future of the Americas? The earth movers haven't started, but the political ground is already shaking as debates rage and alliances shift. The Nicaragua Canal could change everything: economies, environments, and the very balance of power in the region. This is the story of a nation's dream and the world's next great contest, where ambition, hope, and uncertainty collide on the banks of a new canal. The Nicaraguan canal dream dates back to the 1500s, when Spanish explorers imagined a shortcut through the isthmus. Over centuries, visionaries from Napoleon III to Cornelius Vanderbilt tried to make it real. In the late 1800s, the US nearly chose Nicaragua for its canal, but political instability and clever lobbying shifted the project to Panama. The Panama Canal opened in 1914, but Nicaragua's dream lingered, revived and dashed by cost, engineering challenges, and political turmoil. For Nicaraguans, the canal is both hope for redemption and a symbol of foreign exploitation. Every new proposal is haunted by this history, a cautionary tale of ambition and rivalry. The past shapes every decision about the canal's future. In 2013, Chinese billionaire Wang Jing burst onto the scene, securing a 50-year concession to build the canal. The $50 billion project promised prosperity, but skepticism was immediate. Questions swirled about funding, transparency, and demand. Progress stalled after a symbolic groundbreaking. Wang's fortune collapsed and investment dried up. Environmentalists warned of disaster, and thousands protested against displacement. In 2024, Nicaragua repealed the HKND concession, nationalizing the project. Wang's grand vision faded, leaving broken promises and a divided nation. The HKND chapter closed, but it paved the way for a new, more powerful player. The stage was set for China's direct involvement. The canal dream didn't die. It evolved. In 2021, Nicaragua cut ties with Taiwan and embraced China, deepening economic and strategic ties. A 2023 free trade agreement and Belt and Road projects followed, with Chinese state-owned companies investing heavily. In 2025, Ortega and Xi Jinping announced a joint study for the canal, signaling China's direct involvement. The new plan is state-to-state, led by China Communications Construction Company with funding from Chinese banks. Ortega calls it a partnership of equals. Critics see a superpower strategic move. The canal dream is back, this time with Beijing's full backing. The world is watching as the ghost of the canal is resurrected. Washington is alarmed. The mood in the capital is tense as policymakers and analysts scramble to assess the shifting balance of power in the region. For over a century, the US has considered Central America its strategic backyard, with the Panama Canal as its crown jewel. Control over this vital waterway has long been seen as essential to American security and economic interests. Now, a Chinese-financed canal is seen as a direct challenge to US influence. The prospect of a rival route backed by Beijing has set off alarm bells in Washington and beyond. The Pentagon fears a Chinese-controlled canal could grant Beijing military advantages and intelligence access. Such a foothold so close to US shores would be unprecedented in modern times. Sanctions on Ortega's regime are tightening, and talk of targeting Chinese entities is growing. US officials are weighing new measures to deter further Chinese expansion in the region. The US is ramping up engagement with regional allies, offering alternative partnerships to counter China's influence. Diplomatic efforts are intensifying, with Washington seeking to reassure its neighbors. Aid and diplomatic visits to Costa Rica and Panama are increasing. These gestures are part of a broader strategy to strengthen ties and build trust across Central America. The US frames the choice: transparent, rules-based partnerships with the West, or opaque debt-laden deals with Beijing. The message is clear. The future of the region hangs in the balance. The Nicaragua Canal is now the centerpiece of great power competition in the Americas. Its construction could reshape global trade and shift the region's alliances. The stakes are strategic, economic, and deeply personal for the region. For many, the outcome will determine livelihoods, security, and the future of their communities. The chessboard is set, and every move matters. Each decision by Washington, Beijing, or Managua could tip the balance in this high-stakes game. Central America is the new front in a global rivalry. The world is watching as the next chapter of this geopolitical contest unfolds. The world's eyes are fixed on Nicaragua, where the outcome of this contest could reverberate far beyond its borders. In Panama, the news is met with official calm and private anxiety. The Panama Canal is vital to the nation's economy, and a Chinese-backed Nicaraguan canal could siphon off lucrative shipping traffic. Panama touts its reliability and recent expansions, but worries about losing business to a larger, deeper rival. China is already a major user of the Panama Canal, complicating Panama's balancing act between the US and Beijing. Chinese companies operate key ports in Panama, adding to the tension. Panama's strategy, quiet diplomacy, hoping stability and efficiency remain its best defense. The nation walks a tightrope, caught between a regional rival and two superpowers. For Nicaraguans, the canal is more than geopolitics. It's about land, water, and survival. The proposed route would displace over 100,000 people, many from indigenous and rural communities. Lake Nicaragua, the region's largest freshwater source, faces ecological disaster from dredging and shipping. Protests are mounting, but the government dismisses concerns as unpatriotic. State media promises jobs and prosperity, but trust is low after years of repression and secrecy. The nation is split. Some see hope, others see a sellout to foreign interests. The canal could lift Nicaragua or tear it apart. The stakes are as personal as they are global. Experts warn the canal is a high-risk gamble, with enormous stakes for everyone involved. The project's scale and ambition have sparked heated debate among economists, environmentalists, and political leaders worldwide. For China, it's about securing vital supply chains, expanding its influence, and gaining a strategic foothold in the Americas, potentially reshaping global trade routes for decades to come. For Nicaragua, the economic case is shaky. Shipping has already adapted to the expanded Panama Canal, and political instability continues to loom large, making investors wary of long-term commitments. Analysts increasingly argue the project is driven more by geopolitical ambitions than by commercial necessity, raising questions about its true purpose. If it succeeds, Ortega's regime could be entrenched for decades, consolidating power and influence. But if it fails, Nicaragua faces mounting debt, environmental damage, and a potential loss of sovereignty. The benefits for China are largely strategic, expanding its reach in the Western Hemisphere, while for Ortega, the rewards are primarily political, offering a chance to cement his legacy. Yet the risks, environmental, economic, and social, fall squarely on ordinary Nicaraguans who face displacement, pollution, and uncertainty about their future. The canal's success is far from guaranteed, but its potential to disrupt the region's environment, communities, and economies is very real. The world must weigh these risks and rewards carefully, considering not just profits, but the long-term impacts on people and the planet. The future of Central America and the direction of global trade hangs in the balance, awaiting the outcome of this unprecedented gamble. The Nicaragua Canal is no longer a distant dream. It's today's headline. The world must demand transparency, independent environmental review, and protection for local communities. Debt sustainability and long-term viability must be scrutinized, not hidden in backroom deals. This project could spark conflict or cooperation. Global attention is essential. As citizens, we must stay informed, listen to all voices, and push for solutions that respect people and the planet. The canal's fate will echo across oceans and generations. The story is still being written. The world is watching. Vigilance is our responsibility.